Today's video is about tips and my honest thoughts after visiting Expo 2025 Osaka. Last Saturday, I went to the Expo currently being held in Umeshima, Osaka. So in this video, I'm breaking down my experience into 4 sections. The first thing is one thing you should know before going to the Expo. The second thing is tips about the Expo, my honest thoughts, and the last thing is what I do differently if I go there again. And before going to the main topic, I wanted to say in this video, I'm not covering how to buy tickets or talking every pavilion since there are already ton of videos for that. Instead, I'm focusing on lesser known tips and my honest review. Okay, let's get into the main topic. If you're still thinking whether to go to the Expo or not, there's one thing you should know is what even is Expo? According to the official website, Expo is an event that brings together people and innovation from around the world in an effort to address issues facing humankind on a global scale. So this is not all about fun and entertainment. What I mean is if you're expecting something like Universal Studios or Disneyland, you're probably going to be disappointed. Because of that, I honestly think it might be tough for families with little kids to enjoy it. I'll get into more details on this later. And here are the few tips before going to the Expo. The venue is not at Banpaku Kinen Koen Station, which is Expo Commemorative Park. The second thing is you can ride Osaka City Subway by directly tapping your credit card at the ticket gate. And pavilion reservations are basically a must. Let me go through each of these. The first thing is that the venue is not at Expo Commemorative Park. Right after the Expo opened on April 13, there are a bunch of news telling about people showing at the wrong place. A lot of visitors ended up at the Expo 70s Commemorative Park by mistake. Totally understandable, the names are confusing. But the actual site of current Expo is in Umeshima. And here is how to get there from major areas in Osaka. This is already covered by many videos, so let me just go quickly. From Shin Osaka Station, take the Midōsuji line to Honmachi and transfer to Chuo line to Umeshima. And if you're coming from Osaka Station, take the Osaka Loop line to Bentencho Station, then transfer to Chuo line to Umeshima. And if you're coming from Namba Station, take the Midōsuji line to Honmachi, then Chuo line to Umeshima. And if you're coming from Tokyo or Nagoya by bullet train, I made a separate video about Shinkansen tips. And second thing is you can ride Osaka City Subway by tapping your credit card at the ticket gate. When riding a subway or trains in Japan, you basically need to buy a ticket from a ticket machine or use one of these IC cards. But if you're taking subway in Osaka City, in this case this line, you don't even need a ticket or transportation IC card. You can just tap your credit card at the ticket gates. It works with Visa, JBC, American Express, Diners Club, Discover, and UnionPay credit card. The third thing is I strongly recommend you to make a pavilion reservation. I was at the Expo from 11 to 7, but I forgot to make a reservation for any pavilion in advance. No, I didn't forget to make a reservation. I just kept postponing to make a reservation because the system was so complicated. But anyways, this is still my fault. But when I was at Expo, I was around Spain Pavilion and I asked the staff how long it takes to get inside. And the staff told me it may take 2 to 3 hours if you're not reserved. But even you're reserved, she told me it will take around 1 hour. And the US pavilion line was even worse. So if you don't reserve ahead of time, you may have to expect to wait 2 to 3 hours for the popular ones. So these are the tips about the Expo. And now for the real talk. Let me talk about my honest thoughts at the Expo. Some people might not like what I'm about to say, but I'm simply sharing how I genuinely felt after actually being there. I'm not trying to justify myself by being haters. Okay, enough with the preface. Honestly, I was pretty disappointed. Okay, part of that was my fault, especially not making reservation for the pavilion. Or you could say I was just incapable of appreciating it at the moment. But here is why I was disappointed. The waiting times were ridiculously long. The pavilion exhibits were pretty lame. I already talked about the first one, so let me go through the second one. Here are the pavilions I have visited: Philippines, Thailand, Earth at Night, Nordic Pavilion, China, Oman, Commons A, C, and D. The Commons is an area where small-scale exhibits were gathered. I would say some were cool, but honestly, many of them were pretty disappointed. For those who are wondering what are the pavilions actually like, here are the ones that is related to my disappointment.
ومن باطن الأرض امتد الجواب ليروي القرى.
Basically, their message is we love nature and coexisting with it. I know the theme of the Expo is addressing issues facing humankind blah blah blah. But is this something that letting us to pay around 7,000 yen?
Okay. Are you kidding? That's unfair. She made those. I need to calm down. Everything's fine.
Amanda.
I'm an adult.
And also the ticket website was nightmare. It was so complicated and unorganized. And there is no express pass to skip the crazy lines. I heard there is a VIP pass, but it's for distinguished guests and ambassadors, so it's not for sale. So my first expo was kind of a bust, and I was pretty frustrated after spending couple hours there. But on the train going back home, I was reading other people's reviews and saw some people really enjoyed it. And apparently, each of country found its own pavilion. That means quality can vary a lot, and I definitely felt that. So to wrap up this video, I want to talk about what I would do differently if I go to the pavilion again based on everything I messed up this time. Here is what I would do differently. Go on a weekday or in early July. Weekdays are simply less crowded. Next, let's talk about when to go. According to the official crowd forecast from the Expo, visitor numbers tends to drop from July to mid-August because there are fewer school trips and the extreme heat keeps people away. But you cannot underestimate summer in Japan. So if I had to choose, early July seems like the least intense option. And I also want to talk about pavilions. These are the pavilions I would go if I had a chance to visit there again. The first thing is China. I actually went this one and that was pretty impressive. If you think of China, you think it's a big and rich, and that definitely showed here. The scale was on a whole different level compared to other pavilions. The content focused on China's history as well as recent advance in space and deep sea exploration. It had a strong tech vibe overall. One thing that really stuck with me was a short film based on the 12 Chinese zodiac signs and their lifestyle. This was super memorable. The next is United States Pavilion. Honestly, not being able to get inside this one was my biggest regret. I was really hoping to see their exhibits on space development. And the next one is Earth at Night. I did get into this one, and that was pretty great, mainly because it didn't need a reservation to enter. And inside there was a glove made with black shiny wajima nuri, a traditional Japanese lacquerware technique, which took 5 years to complete. It was glossy and cool looking, and totally something that boys would like. And the next thing is Null. I don't know how to call this, Null or Nuru Nuru. This one was designed by Yoichi Ochiai, a well-known Japanese academic and entrepreneur. I didn't totally get what this is about, but there is something strangely fascinating about how weird it felt. And also Italy Pavilion and Sumimoto Pavilion seemed amazing too. So this is my actual thoughts based on actually going to the expo, and I hope this helps anyone to get clear idea. Feel free to leave a comment. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.